Okay, hi guys, welcome back. So in my previous video, we've talked about the theme. So in this part, we're going to be talking about the symbols of a poem called Do Not Go Gentle Into That Good Night. Again, if you have any questions, you can always feel free to contact me via the email address that I have provided in my first video as well. And also my Instagram handle, feel free to follow to check out for updates, etc. and etc. So, specifically for this poem, we will be talking about symbols, and there are a lot of different symbols, but I want to specifically address light because it is quite opposite to darkness, which is the theme of the poem. So, the symbol light here is very essential, I would say. So, again, the symbol is the light consistently. Apologies for the typing error here. It should be the. So in line 3, for example, the speaker instructs the reader to rage against the dying of light. So again, when you imagine rage, that's more like fire, that's more like light, it's more red, orange, yellow. So those type of colors against the darkness, which is black, is quite interesting because that is going to bring light towards the dark, which is black, and it will produce a sense of life. Which is, I would say, opposite to death. So there are multiple ways to understand the idea of light as a symbol. So these were some of my interpretations. I would say before you even take a screenshot or before you pause the video or before you just stop the video just to copy the notes and leave the video, I would suggest you try and get your own interpretations and make sure you're listening to the entire video because there are some things which I haven't mentioned and I will say it, I'd say vocally rather than just writing it down. So the first interpretation is, of course, the speaker wants the reader to fight against death. So again, death is more like darkness. It's black, and then when you're fighting against it, you want something brighter. Imagine yourself fighting against an enemy. You can't use the same weapon. You're obviously going to use a weapon that is, I'd say, opposite so that you can win. So again, when something is really dark, you want to use lightness. You want to use light. Sorry. When something is dark and filled with darkness, you want to use light so that it's producing a sense of shininess and you can see your enemy and technically you can fight against it. Now, the second one is the speaker wants people to preserve life. Now, light is basically a way of hope, I would say. So, when you're trying to preserve life, it's like you're producing light, which shows that your attempt of living. So, when you're having your life, of course, it's filled with so much happiness, joy, sadness. There's a bunch of emotions. And when you're having that light against death, it's showing that you're preserving life. It's like you're not accepting death. If you're staying there in the darkness, it's basically okay, you're accepting death to come. But if you produce a sense of light, it's just like an attempt of living. It's like you want to stay alive. So it's quite like a deeper interpretation. If you're not into poetry that much, I'd really suggest you to read some poetry and it will come on more naturally for you. The third interpretation is that it can be analyzed that he sees death as a kind of possible darkness or even night. So again, this was like explained in my first part. So night is more like, I wouldn't say it's evil, but it's something that's like shadow. It's like shadowing or overshadowing light. So when it's dark, it's of course black, and usually I'd say in poetry, people would associate black with a bad omen, like death. The fourth interpretation, although night may seem to be a good thing, it is of course an invitation to the everlasting rest and peacefulness. So, of course, night is very peaceful. It's like full of silence and tranquility. However, it's actually like an invitation to an everlasting rest. Of course, some people would say, okay, night is like a symbol of a new morning. Okay, that's possible too. So again, it depends the way you see it. So for me, I would say night seems to be like an everlasting rest and peacefulness. So you're gone into that void, into the void of darkness, basically. The next one is that light serves as a symbol for good and vibrant parts of life, which includes joy, inspiration, and loads of happiness. So basically, it's like when you're having light against death, it's showing that you want positivity, you want cheerfulness in your life. So that's the idea, as I've mentioned previously as well. In the next one, it says, light acts as a reason to live and gives people a sense of hope. Now, I don't know how many of you are religious when you're watching this video. Usually, when you go to like a religious place, usually everything is filled with light. It's very rare to see a holy place filled with darkness. So, if you think in that aspect, when there is light, it somehow gives you a ray of hope. It somehow feels like everything is going to be okay, and it's like you're not lost basically, because when you go in a holy place, obviously they want to give you a sense of hope that everything is going to be all right and everything is going all right. So they will have lots of lights, I would say. So basically, for me, I think the idea of consistently using the symbol of light is actually showing how there's a sense of hope. That, okay, although the writer's father has died, there's a sense of hope that he's probably like metaphorically still there, spiritually still there with him. So this is going in like more deeper, I would say. But I'd say it's just a way of interpreting. Lastly, light offers a symbol of vibrant pictures and images. So throughout the poem, you would see like meteors, bright water, or lightning. So again, it's just very vibrant pictures and images that gives you a sense of faith and hope. So all in all, I'd say all these points are quite interconnected and interlinked with one another. I wouldn't say they're all like very separate and independent interpretations. So that's why I said if you're just pausing the video and copying down all the notes without actually watching the video, I'd say you'd be really confused because some of the points seem to be quite similar. And if you don't listen to the video, probably you won't see the difference between them and you won't realize that they're actually interconnected instead of being independent. So if you're doing your exam and you're trying to use all these all these points as separate paragraphs, you might end up just realizing that maybe some of your explanations are quite repetitive. So do be sure you're actually watching the video so that you actually understand, I would say. Nevertheless, it is your choice. And I would say if you really need help on more literature guides, you can, of course, look below this video and you would be able to see a form, which is a Google form, and you can purchase some of my literature notes. You can order them both in soft copy and hard copy. I do remember creating a specific video about some of my products for literature. So you can go to my YouTube channel and be able to check that. And if you found this video very helpful, of course, you can subscribe. And if you want to contact me, you can comment below this YouTube video. You can, of course, email me at any moment in time. And of course, Instagram me as well. I am currently quite busy. However, I will try my best to reply to each and every one of you. So if you found this video, do be sure to give a like. Until then, I'll see you in my next video. Thank you.